I'm on vacation. Oh man, no, I really am on vacation. I know it looks like I'm sitting at my desk at my office in my house. And yeah, no, I am taking some time off from work, about a week, which is a good thing. Um, you need every now and then. What actually I'm doing, and as far as vacation goes, is kind of what I'm talking about today. And kind of something I've been thinking about for a while. It's the fact that my wife and I are going to go out of town for a couple days. But this is going to be the first trip that she and I have taken by ourselves without kids since they were born. Now, I don't know if anybody remembers from any of my past videos. I think I've mentioned it. My oldest is 7, almost 8 years old. So that means that we have not gone anywhere overnight. I mean, we've done date nights, we've done day trips, but we were always home at night or whatever. We haven't done any of those kind of trips without at least one kid in tow. And that's not to say that I don't want my kids around. Of course I want my kids around. They're my kids. But as an introvert, as a reluctant parent, you need that space away from your children. You need that time away, not only for yourself, even though that's important, you need it for your relationship with your significant other. And that's not even necessarily a reluctant parent thing. That is just a relationship thing in general. I know a lot of people have this thought that once you become a parent, your kids come first, and they should be important. They absolutely should be high on the priorities list as far as what's important in life, what you need to focus on. But you can't be a good parent. You can't have a happy family. You can't have a healthy life without focusing on the other aspects of your life. And I am a firm believer that when it comes to a marriage, when it comes to a relationship, whatever the status of your relationship may be with your significant other when you have kids, that you have to put some focus and time into that. You have to put the kids aside for a little while, not neglect them, not, throw them away as it were and just forget they exist. But, you make sure they're taken care of. You have someone you trust to watch them, whether a family member, a babysitter, a child caregiver, whatever it may be. You have someone that you trust to take care of your kids properly and in the way that you want. And you leave and you get away and you put some focus and some time into the relationship and the connection between you and your significant other. And that is one of those things, and I think this is going to be one of those slightly more personal ones, that my wife and I struggle with. And I'm not going to say we fight about it. We don't. It's not breaking anything, that we aren't in some crazy, relationship trouble or anything like that. It's not that. But it's one of those things that we have different viewpoints. I am very big on the fact that we need to do that. I'm very big on wanting time with just her and without kids around. And she is kid first. I'm trying to say it in a way that doesn't paint a bad light. I'm not trying to do that. This is not about slamming anybody or speaking in a negative way. It's a difference of viewpoint. So it's one of those where, we talk about it a lot, we discuss it, whatever. And so for years, I've lightly brought up this issue. And part of it is, I'm not going to go into detail on this, but we had trouble having kids for a while. There's various medical reasons behind it. So it took some time and some emotional effort and just everything for us to be able to have the 2 kids we have, which if you're curious, the pictures behind me, that's them. And so there is an anxiety about leaving them because it was such a challenge to have them. So I get it. I get where she's coming from. I'm not negating that. I'm not discouraging that. I'm not in any way looking down on that. But at the same time, this is a partnership. This is 2 people. So when it comes to the 2 of us, we have to find some common ground. where that goes. And so it's one of those where she knows my feelings on it. She knows what I would like. I know what she would like. And so we just continue to constantly work on that and figure it out. Now, to time frame you guys, like I said, my daughter is almost 8. My wife and I, in about 2 weeks, will have been married for 9 years. We had my firstborn a little more than a year after we got married. But like I said, in that time, we have never done any sort of overnight trip without at least one kid with us. So this weekend's going to be interesting. We are going to a place we normally go to. In very honest reality, we're going to Disneyland. My wife and I are very big fans of it. The very first trip we ever took together while we were dating, we went to Disneyland. And then we went once or twice more before we had kids. And we go with kids. We're season pass holders. We live close enough. It's not a trip we can make just anytime we randomly feel like it. We do have to plan for it. But it's close enough that having season passes is an okay thing. You know, it's not a waste of money. We're able to go enough times in the year that the season passes are worth it. And by far worth it, which is good. So we wanted to make sure that with this trip being the first time without kids, we went somewhere, one, that we were familiar with and comfortable with. Because we had talked about going to other places. We talked about going to like Vegas or, you know, some resort somewhere or some whatever. And those would all be well and good. But we decided we wanted some place where the two of us could feel very comfortable, where we could feel very relaxed. But at the same time was close enough that if anything crazy did happen, not that we think anything will, but if anything crazy did happen, we could get back home in a fairly decent amount of time. So Disneyland was the obvious choice for us. So we're going to be going there for a couple days. We're going to enjoy it. And one of the things we're going to do is we're going to do the things that adults can't do when they have kids with them. I don't know how many people out there are fans of Disneyland and Disney and all that stuff. We are. It's just who we are. I won't deny that. But, you know, in Disneyland, there are restaurants that are, I'm not going to say formal, but a little more grown up, if you will. You know, it's not the standard food stands and walk-up windows and all that. It's sit-down restaurant-style eating. You know, I don't know how many people you know what the Blue Bayou is. It's a restaurant inside the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. It's darker. It's very nice. They welcome families, of course. But my kids would not enjoy it. You know, we look at the menu. We know there's, you know, my kids probably wouldn't eat much of anything on it. And so, you know, going there and going to their other restaurants like that we want to do that we either have never been to or just haven't been able to go to since we had kids. And, you know, we want to have time to walk through shops. We want to go to downtown Disney and just, there's an outdoor bar there. We want to be able to just sit and have a drink and enjoy each other. So that's the plan. Hopefully it's going to go okay. My wife actually just got back. She was across the country. I mentioned it in my last video. You know, she had been sent to the other side of the country. We live in California. She was in Florida for 5 days because of work. And so she literally was gone for 5 days. She came back yesterday. Today's Wednesday, so she flew back home yesterday, Tuesday, and she and I leave this Friday. So she's literally going to be home for about 3 days, 2 or 3 days. And then we're gone again. And so I know it's something she's struggling with because she was away from the girls for that long. She still called them. She still FaceTimed with them every day. So they saw each other, but you know, it's not the same as in person. And then we're going to go again. So she is amazingly trying to deal with that. She is being very good. She knows that we need this trip, but I know that she is struggling with it as well. So we're going to try and make it as relaxing as possible. We're staying at a hotel we've never stayed at that is nearby the parks. That it's kind of cool. It kind of caters to adults. It's not adult only. They do allow families and kids, but they take the hotel and they keep kind of one wing of it or one section of it for the families, and the rest of the hotel they keep for just adults. Just so that those people who are traveling and aren't going to Disneyland, or the people who even like us who are going to Disneyland but just don't have kids in tow and want to be able to relax a little more, can do that, which is going to be great. And then we're going down with pretty much no plans other than a couple reservations at those restaurants. Like I said, we have zero plans. We're just going to go and do what we feel like doing at the time. We're going to ride the rides that we have a harder time hitting when we have kids with us. You know, we're going to walk shops. We're going to take our time. We're going to sleep in the morning if we want. We don't have to try and get up and get to the park right when it opens like you would with kids a lot of times because they're so excited. And we enjoy doing that, but it's going to be a nice change. So it's kind of interesting the way this trip looks, just because the dichotomy between me and her, where she is excited but nervous, glad but anxious about leaving, whereas I am thrilled. I am ecstatic. I am counting down. Because like I said, I love my kids. I'm not trying to neglect them, but for me, the reluctant dad, this is a long time coming. This is something I cannot wait for. I've honestly been trying to make this happen for years. And so for me, this is huge because I think it's going to, one, help me recharge, to get away from kids. I've done a couple different like overnight trips for things, friends' bachelor parties, bachelor weekends is what they really were, different things like that. I've done myself a couple trips without my kids. My wife only this year did her first one by herself without kids, and only because work forced her. This trip to Florida was only the second time she's ever gone anywhere overnight without at least one kid. So these are all kind of new for her, this whole thing about not having the kids around. And on those trips that she went, I was still home, so she could feel a little more comfortable that, I was here. But yeah, this is going to be interesting. I'm kind of curious what everybody else thinks about just the whole idea of being away from your kids. Is it a good thing? Is it not? Do you, for those who have kids, how often do you get away like this? Are you able to? What do you like to do when you go? I don't know. Like I said, these videos are meant to be a discussion. So let's discuss, let's have conversation, let's agree, let's disagree, let's whatever. If you like the video, please like and subscribe it down below. Subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, do what you're going to do, and I will talk to you guys later. See ya.